We need to raise taxes to pay the bankers. We need to get the 9/11 truthers. They may kill Obama. 9/11 Truth is nonviolent. 9/11 Truth is the main group out there everywhere confronting Al Gore for lying about carbon dioxide. Every week I see a new confrontation of We Are Change or others. 9/11 Truth started the Tea Parties. That's on record. They energized Ron Paul's campaign. They had the first Tea Parties. And Beck just came in and took it over and said it's now called the 9/12 movement, not the 9/11 Truth movement. Do you see how sick that is? Remember that day after 9/11, how you felt. Yeah, you were ready to nuke countries, give up all your rights and freedoms, and blow out the budget for empire. I mean, it's all completely transparent what Glenn Beck is doing. And he is even more slimy than Bill O'Reilly. And I've just had it with him. And so I woke up at 3:30 in the morning last night. Really thinking about how I want to try to be more focused myself and realize the responsibility I have. I mean, if they've created Glenn Beck, who has literally tried to take on, he's like a wolf in Alex clothing, and he's distorting everything I'm doing, and they're monitoring everything we're doing, and we've reached hundreds of millions of people with my films, hundreds of millions, free online. We are shaking these people up. And of all the groups out there fighting the New World Order, we are the main global focal point worldwide, and we're small. And believe me, folks, a lot of you, I guess, will never be in this position. I mean, who else could be now to experience this? This is not, for me, I'm not a very worldly person. I mean, other than liking food and fast cars and, you know, women, my wife, I mean, I'm not a very fleshly person. I mean, I really am somebody who's always reflecting and thinking. And I get on air and I just get mad and frustrated because I don't want to be covering all this. And I know I'm right. I know my gut. But not just my gut. I know he's a dirty traitor. He makes me sick. We've got this operative leading our movement. He says 9/11 Truth are going to kill the president. That's what he said. I mean, that's like saying Marvin the Martians are going to land from Pluto and take can openers to all your kids' heads and eat their brains. It isn't true, folks. Marvin the Martian isn't going to land and eat children's brains. And 9/11 Truth isn't in the White House. It isn't going to kill Obama. I mean, that's like saying a sea monster is going to come up from under the Golden Gate Bridge today and start eating people at the Presidio base. It's just not real. It has no basis in reality. And every time I tune in, folks, and I don't listen more than 5 minutes a day. It's a test I do. I just tune in to hear it. It's always pure evil, wrapped up in the patriot and save the republic. The republic is falling. Left-right paradigm. Just everything I say wrapped up in a we need to be mindless like we were on 9/12. In fact, Jaron, I'm going to calls, but I'm just going to do this Beck thing now. Let's play that clip of Beck one more time, because, again, I woke up I went to bed around midnight. I woke up 3.5 hours later, and I couldn't go back to sleep, and I was just thinking, man, this is so serious. This is so real. The Austin police just covertly shut down a gun show illegally, and they're bragging about it on the news. They're proud of it. And I was thinking, my God, I need to spend more time with my kids, but I want to fight this. And I was like, why am I so uncomfortable? Why am I so uncomfortable? And I realized, well, that Republican won in Massachusetts. He authored, one of the socialist bills that's the national model and promoted it in that state. And I thought, Glenn Beck is calling for taxes to pay the banks. And I just knew that Barack Obama was going to stage a terror attack. And I decided to come on air today because I'm going back to the stillness of the night for hours until my kids got up at like 6:30, and ran out there, and I was in the living room on the couch sitting there. And I was just really thinking deeply about why am I so upset? Why am I so concerned? And it it was like, well, look at the cards the enemy's got. They're going to launch wars. They're going to stage terror attacks, probably even bigger than 9/11. And they've got Northcom in place, and the big think tank experts that run the New World Order have got their battle plan figured out. And I thought, I've got to really figure out their battle plan, not just their general operations where I know what direction they're going. I've got to specifically rack my brain and really get into the mind of the enemy, which I'm able to do. That's how I was able to tell you they're going to blow up the World Trade Center, blame it on their asset, bin Laden. I mean, that's how I was able to tell you they're going to launch a flu operation. I told you that in January, folks, of last year, 3 months before it started in the news. And again, people think I'm a decent radio host or I'm a good speaker or they think I'm a good filmmaker. Those are all limited skills compared to what I'm able to cognitively, intellectually understand. And then it's so complex and big, I can't fully even articulate it. But you understand, it's just, it's so horrible. I mean, we've got a complete operative running the movement. And that's what Obama was. You've got this movement against Bush. The country's on the edge of revolution. And so they put a black man in, like KRS-One says, and everybody's sitting back. And now they're waking up that he's a scam. So they bring in the Republicans. But the Republicans are also giving Obama left cover so that he can expand wars and expand the Patriot Act and expand the signing statements. You notice the Republicans never criticize. I saw Krauthammer, the big neocon on C-SPAN last night, saying how great Obama was for expanding wars. That's what he had to do as commander-in-chief. I mean, look at it. Obama is continuing the secret arrest, the torture, the police state, all of it. And I was watching a documentary on North Korea showing people who had escaped, showing where huge hooks were put through their bodies, showing where their fingers were cut off, watching their parents be executed, being worked to death. I'm gonna play some of this and tell you where you can go to YouTube and watch the whole thing coming up in the next hour. And I watched it, and I just thought about what big government does and how they always do the same thing. This is a system of control. This is a system run by psychopaths, and they want to do that here. They give you false choices. So they're giving you Glenn Beck or Barack Obama. And both of them are so bad, the left's going to support Obama because Beck's so bad, and the right's going to support Beck because Obama's so bad. And it's elementary. I mean, it's elementary that he was for the banker bailout, Glenn Beck. He said we need the Army to go against domestic enemies, Ron Paul supporters. Remember that? He said this last year, Ron Paul's a kook on his radio show. And most of us aren't even monitoring this. It must be hundreds of times worse. I mean, if I listen 5 minutes a day, just as a spot check, and it's always just petrifyingly evil mixed in with all this good stuff. Again, I'm not here talking about another radio host or TV host because that's what I don't do that. I'm here because this guy's a political leader now. I mean, this guy is saying he is George Washington, baby. He's got his boots on, and he is as phony as a $3 bill. That's a problem. Now, a lot of people knew Benedict Arnold was a traitor and given the British plans, and that's why George Washington kept losing battles, but thank God that these are the times that try men's souls. Beck was reading that today. And George Washington read that to his troops, but the whole time Benedict Arnold was selling him out, selling him out, selling him out. The British, so that people wouldn't suspect Arnold, would let him win little battles with them. And then it came out he was a British agent the entire time. And I mean, I know this is Benedict Arnold. I'm in the camp, and I'm not stepping up saying I'm George Washington, and I'm here trying to support people that are real like Ron Paul or Napolitano the few that are actually good. And in ways, Napolitano's even stronger than Paul. So I'm not here being the Grand Inquisitor, the patriot cop. I mean, I'm here in the camp, and I'm going, that guy is an operative. Look, he just said, use the army against the American people. He says 9/11 truth is going to kill the president. When actually, he's the only czar they kicked out because he wasn't with 9/11 truth. And Cass Sunstein says arrest people if they believe that. That's the real White House head of regulation. One of the most powerful czars there.